How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Esfon Joseph here. Today's video is going to be on the Khabib fight. Khabib versus Justin Gaethje, UFC 254. What was it, 254?
256? I don't know.
Yeah, so I just checked on my phone. It's UFC 254. So we're going to break up just pretty much the ground portion, because he did a lot of really good jiu-jitsu in there. He did what's called the dope mount, S mount. We're going to go over all that stuff. Just so you guys know, I've done 2 other videos on Khabib and breaking down his game. So I'm going to have them either pop up on the screen or I'm going to leave in the description below. So go ahead and check those out. You're going to really like it. All right, guys, so we're going to start off with the ending of the first round. So he finished off with a double leg. He ends up against the cage. And what happens is Justin's, his back is against the cage. He's shot for that double. Now he's driving with his chest. Remember, well, in the last videos when I talk about it, he always used a lot of chest pressure, a lot of it. So he's driving in with his chest, and that's when he goes for that lock of doom, which essentially just takes his ankle and he drags his partner's legs, and he does what's called a figure 4. So I'll do it on the other side so you guys can see. So if you guys watch, he'll drag the leg and he'll lock. This allows his partner to be stuck. He can't really move that well. Now, I've had a few comments actually asking about, how does he end up making his legs look like this? So when he's locking it up like this, how does he end up making it crisscrossed? He's not actually really going for that. He's just locking legs up, and just by happenstance, as he's trying to escape, it just ends up that way. So what happens is, once he locked it up, you guys remember, he locked it up, but what happened was Justin laid on his side, and he actually opened up his legs. He was able to open up and flare. But if you notice, what happened was, as Justin was coming up, Khabib had an arm hug. He had a hug on his waist, and he was actually controlling his wrist. So in fact, even when Justin came all the way up, sat up on his elbow, what Khabib did was he actually went on his tippy toes and he drove into him. Now, if you notice, when he's against the cage, so he's more against the cage like this, and I'm driving into him, so forehead into the chin, doesn't matter what Justin tries to do, he's not going to be able to get up. So as I'm driving in, if he tries to get up, it's just not going to happen. There's no way. And what he did was he went into a beautiful position called the dope mount position. So dope mount is, he used his outside knee and he pierced through. You see that? When he pierced through, this is a dominant position, because all he had to do now was drop him on his side, and now that's it. Once he has this position, he has a clear entry into the mount position. Now, once he ended up in that dope mount position, how did he get into mount? Well, what happened was he hugged his body, he steps over the leg. So he has to step over the leg, and then he just follows through. The leg that he weaved just steps all the way over into the mount position. So let's do that again. So Justin was against the cage. He had a hug on his body, a lot of pressure, tippy toe pressure. Then he drove his knee through. Justin fell to the side. Once he fell to the side, that's when he stepped over the knee, stepped behind, and then he rolled right into the mount position, and then Justin just rolled onto his back. Now, here's where he got really, really cool. He went for the S mount position. So what is the S mount? So what happened was Justin's arms were kind of hovering in the air. He was trying to defend. So what Khabib did was he locked the arm. He went around the elbow. He slid his knee up, and he swung the other foot under his body. So if you watch, he slid to one side, and he swung the foot under. So this is what's called the S mount. Now, why it's called the S mount? Because from the top down, it forms the shape of an S. Now, what he did was he scooped. When he tried to throw the leg, Justin deflected. He actually pushed it off and he fell down. And just so you know, once you fall down from an S mount position before throwing your leg over, it's a bit of an issue. But what saved this position for the last 5 seconds, 10 seconds of the round was then when Khabib threw his leg over top. And what happened was, he now essentially, because the glove is a lot bigger, when he threw his leg over, his arm's actually helping keeping Justin's arm stuck. So if he tries to get his arm out, it's actually kind of stuck. And this one got kind of ugly, because he was trying to throw the leg over, but then this arm was deflecting that top leg, and he was trying to do it, but he can't. And that's when he threw a couple strikes just to kind of make him react to it. Now, how could that have gone a lot better? So first thing you want to understand is with S mount, you do not S mount low on the belly. So if I S mount here, right? S mounting here is not going to be proper. Why? Because when I throw my leg over, right, I need to make sure my hip is inside the armpit. When I have my hip inside the armpit, it's the best spot for the armbar position, hip in the armpit. But when I'm on the belly, right, there is no It's not there. So what happens, so many things could have happened. Maybe his arm could have slipped through, right, like this. It could have slipped through. And in this instance, when he threw the leg over, he got deflected. He deflected the leg, and he fell down. And then he had to continue kind of improvising, finding different ways to do it. So in a perfect world, he would have slid all the way up, always making sure the S mount is going all the way across the upper chest. When it's across the upper chest, now you're good. My hips are in the armpit. I'm in a very optimal position to actually finish this armbar position. The second thing is when you throw your leg over, the common habit is people want to do this. They want to throw the leg first. You don't want to throw the leg first. The first thing you're going to do is push with your knee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead with my knee. Then when I lead with my knee, I throw my foot over. Why? Because when I throw my knee, it's very difficult to stop. It's a very strong force. So if I'm here and I throw my knee, if he tries to deflect it, it's very hard to stop. But at this point now, it's too late. When I lead with my knee, I lead with my foot. Then you sit down. And that's when from here, he could just start throwing strikes and maybe have a way better opportunity to actually finish the armbar. So now let's get into that second round where he went for the triangle. Now, here's the thing. It's very convincing to see why it looked like he was going for the triangle, but I believe he was going for the armbar. So they ended up in mount, and then he had his arm to the outside. So he had his arm to the outside. He started climbing nice and high on it. That way he can trap the arm inside his hip pocket. Now, here's where people were like, yeah, he's going for the triangle because he punched and he threw his leg over. But here's the thing. When you throw a mounted triangle, you do exactly that. You punch, you throw, but you lean forward. You lean forward to lock the figure four. He didn't do that. He actually threw the leg, and it was shallow, so it was only his Achilles. Then he abandoned the head control, grabbed onto the elbow, and then he adjusted by leaning into the belly. You don't go for a mounted triangle by leaning into the belly. And you don't do it by controlling the arm either. This is a total armbar situation. He wanted to throw the leg over, sit down, and finish. Now, why I think he probably did that was because the first round, Justin pushed. He pushed the legs over. So he thought by getting rid of the arm, it's now out of the equation. Now he already has a tight bite on his neck with his foot. So now he can lean, throw the leg over. But as he tried to do that, Justin rolled him. He ended up on his back. And that's when he locked that triangle, which put him to sleep in 5 seconds or something like that. And the reason why he got put to sleep so quickly, it could be many reasons, but one reason is he's tired. He's breathing very heavy. And then once you block the arteries when you're kind of that tired, doesn't take that long. You pass out pretty quickly. But the other reason why is the angle of the triangle. So a triangle, conventional triangle is just you face your partner just like this, and some people will squeeze with the adductor, which is the muscle on the inside. But he changed the angle differently. He landed with an angle that allows my hamstring to push against his neck. So now I have my hamstring on this side, and then angle the foot out. So angle the foot out, pinch your knees, and then curl your heels. And that's going to be a very powerful triangle. It's unbelievable. And it puts people to sleep really quickly. Now what Khabib was doing here was he was grabbing his shin. I think it was just in the heat of the moment. And he was scooping the leg on this side over here. Scooping the leg is very important because then it doesn't allow the guy to slam you, right? I'm attached to him, so I'm like a heavy necklace. Now, generally what he should have done was instead of grabbing the ankle, to grab onto the shin, but it really doesn't matter at that point. He had so much control. He had such a strong angle that he was going to get it anyway. I know these moves can be very complicated, so if you have any questions, comment below. I'll do my best to answer all of them. All right, guys, there you have it. A detailed explanation of what happened in the first and second round of the fight between Khabib and Justin Gaethje. And again, don't forget, check out the other two videos. I think you'll like it a lot. If you like details like this, you'll love the other two videos. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video.